So what we're looking at here is Venus of what's called the goddess figurines. This one is probably the oldest that we have, and it's 40,000 years old. 40,000 years old, not 4,000, 40,000 years old. And this is an image of God as a woman. In other words, now that we have the image of God as a man, that the patriarchal image of the highest divine is masculine, but for many, many millennia before that, it was always feminine. It was always the goddess. And this is the oldest that we have, was found in Germany some few years ago. That's why the funny name, Hochfels. What we're looking at here is you can see these lines, these meandering lines on her body. Can you see them?
Yes.
They're like a labyrinth. That's exactly what she is. She is the labyrinth.
Wow.
She's the cosmic axis that unmapped way to the center, to this inner journey or quest, what Campbell called the monomyth. In other words, she is the way, she's the guide, she's the way, and she's the final destination. So this is what these lines mean on her belly. She's that labyrinth, that way towards the center, which we will be taking right now. So the way this image works is that she is the womb within which you're going inwards to rediscover this feminine mystery, and that's why her vulva is supernatural. It's big. It's the image of the womb within which we're going to enter, and then we're going to return. That's the inner world of a mystery of the soul, the language or the mythology of the soul. So now that we have had a look at her, we're going to go into another image. This is the oldest that we have. Now the next thing, we're staying with, still in Wikipedia, and we're gonna type in Venus of Losel. So let me know if you want me to spell that for you. And Losel is spelled L-A-U-S-S-E-L. Let me know when everyone's there.
Venus of Losel.
Oh, Losel.
Could you spell that again, please?
L-A-U-S-S-E-L.
I have it.
You got it? So it's on Wikipedia. Yeah?
I also have it.
Okay. So you want the first image. Click on the first image. And there she is again. Some of you are still looking, yes?
Yes.
And
Yeah, okay.
where is this one?
I know.
It's in Wikipedia. So we're staying in the browser in Wikipedia.
I mean, where is she located?
Oh, she's France this time. 25,000 years old. So we moved some 15,000 years closer to our age. This is 25,000 years old. So the first one was 40,000 years old. That was a sculpture. That was a figurine. This is a sculpture. See?
He has the horn of plenty.
That's the whole. Yeah, exactly. That's the Cornucopia. She's holding in her right hand the horn. This is the crescent, the crescent moon, and her left hand is pointing down to the earth or to her belly. So she's that cosmic axis that unites the above with the below. She is the horn. She is the source of life. That's why she holds it. She is that mystery from which life comes, back to which it returns.
Can you show that image on the screen? Because I don't think I'm looking at the same thing, please.
Cynthia, can you see this?
Yes, thank you. I'll find that.
You got it?
No, I'm looking for it.
Okay. So we'll wait a little bit while I keep going.
Oh, don't wait for me. Just keep going.
Yeah, she is the cornucopia. She is the horn of plenty, as Jurek pointed out, the source out of which life comes and back to which it returns. And she's holding it up because she is the cosmic axis, and we are what we are doing right now is going on this journey of discovery to this point, to this mystery point from which all comes and to which it returns. This is also refers, there are 13 notches on her, on this cup, which refers to the cycle of the moon and to her own menstrual cycle. So the cycle of the moon and the woman's menstrual cycle are interconnected. That's why it's a feminine mystery. The moon is a feminine mystery.
Why does she have such a strange head?
Because, you know, the features of the head were not important, because it's not something which is to be, the mystery is not something which is to be recognized or be known as this person, that person. It's an unknown mystery. That's why the first figure too was only her body, and her head was always missing. It was just a little notch on top. You see? Because what we're looking at is really a mystery, a feminine mystery. That's why it's called feminine mystery. The deep feminine is that source out of which all comes, back to which it returns, or we call it soul, the energy consciousness that supports the universe and enlivens all life. And we don't really know what it is. That's why the features, the facial features are in this earliest mystic art, they're all missing. They're not important. But she's that cosmic axis that unites the invisible with the visible. The invisible is the horn, and the visible is the hand pointing down to the ground. So
How old did you say she is? She's
25,000 years old, and it was found in France. So this is you know, old Stone Age. So has everyone found this image now?
Amy is on. She's just not visible.
Okay. Has everyone found this image?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've had a look, yep. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we are going to go inside this image, as it were, inside this feminine dimension, inward and backward into the source, into this discovery of the cornucopia, if you like. So we're going inside the cave now. We're still staying in ancient Europe, but now we are in Wikipedia, and now we're going to look for something called Lascaux. My dog is coming and going. Now I'll spell Lascaux because that's a French word. Now we're still staying in France, and we're looking for Lascaux, and Lascaux is spelled Lascaux. Lascaux. Let me know when you find it. So we're going inside this image of the goddess, if you like, inside the cave, inside into our inner life.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one.
That's an image of two bulls.
Yes, we're going down to, we're going to be looking at image from the top, image number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th image from the top, it's on the right side, and we're looking at a bull with a man lying on the ground and a staff next to the man with a bird perched on the staff.
I don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
You say it's the 5th image down?
I don't see it.
Yeah. Have you found it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a man with a bull?
There's a bull next to a man lying on the ground. He wears he's drawn in sort of a stickman style. The bull is drawn very artistically, but him and the little stick that next to him is drawn like sticks with a stick figure. Has everyone found that?
No,
Not yet? Okay.
please go ahead.
No, we'll wait.
I'm technically Chinese.
Are you still looking for Lascaux on Wikipedia?
Yes.
Okay, do you want me to spell it for you?
Oh, got it. I got the spelling. I just can't get this up.
Okay.
It's taking me to the archaeological site.
So we've gone inside the cave now. Inside this image of the goddess that we looked at before. So we're going inward into the temple, inward into our own inner life. That's what this really means. Inward and backward. Now, why backward? Inward and backward, because your first level of inner life will be your personal unconscious, what you call personal unconscious. The stuff that our biographical life, our history and our ego stuff, our personal little tribe. But deeper and beyond that is a deeper level, collective level of the psyche.
Each of these drawings has a name.
Yes.
So which drawing are you referring to?
Okay, it might say underneath the famous shaft scene of Lascaux, a man with a bird head and a bison.
I think I see that.
Yeah,
I
just
see a
click on the
bird, I
image.
see a man, and it looks like a bison. Yeah.
Yeah, just click on the image.
And a snake. There's a snake in it too.
Is there a snake? No, there's no snake. If you're in Wikipedia and you've got the page up called Lascaux, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th image from the top.
Right.
In a subsection called interpretation. In that subsection, it's the 2nd image.
Okay, I think I have it.
Yeah, there's a large bison and a man lying on the ground.
Yes, got it.
Got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has everybody else got it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so click on that image. So we've gone inside this, the image of the goddess. We've gone inside this inward, into our inner life, into the temple of the soul. And there, right at the back of the cave, right, we've perhaps traveled for miles and miles through really, sometimes really tight, tight corridors. Somewhere apparently just only 1.5 feet wide. So you have to squeeze in through these really tight channels. And you might come up to a larger room, as it were. Some are huge and some are smaller. And right at the back of that would be this painting. This is the mystery. So what you're looking at here is a shaman, prostrate on the ground. He's in trance, and he's wearing a bird's mask. You see, his left hand is pointing to the bison, and his right arm is pointing to a stick on top of which is a little bird perching. So he's mediating. The bison is the everyday life, because that was the life of the hunters. This is some 15,000 years ago. So back then, that would have been in Europe, people lived from hunting and gathering. So this would be the everyday life of hunting. So that's the bison. And his right arm points to this mystery, this cosmic axis at the top of which the apex of which is the symbol of the spirit of the soul, which is bird. See? This is the mediating. When you go that deep inward, you'll find that threshold, that place which mediates between the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. That image of the goddess that I was showing you before where in her right hand she holds the cornucopia, and in the left is pointing to the ground. So this is the same image, this cosmic axis you see on that staff, at the apex of which is the soul, what we are looking for. Yeah. So this is the threshold, the dimension between the two worlds, the world of matter and world of spirit, or world of the body and world of soul. And we've come all the way to that threshold. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into the cave and see the mystery itself, as it were. We're still staying in Europe, and now staying in Wikipedia still, yeah. And we're going to go and find something called the sorcerer cave art. The sorcerer cave art. So you're still in Wikipedia?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to spell the sorcerer?
Sorcerer cave art.
Yeah. Sorcerer is S-O-R-C-E-R-E-R. Cave art. There's only it's only a short page and then just one image of this being with antlers.
There's 4 images here shown.
Are you in Wikipedia?
Yeah.
And do you have that image of a being with antlers?
Yeah,
Is that it?
there's 3 different.
Okay, the page that I have is called, excuse me, the sorcerer, and in brackets, cave art. Let me know when you find it.
Mark, is this the one?
I've lost. Let me see it, Penny.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
I don't see it.
You don't have it?
No.
Scroll down a little bit.
Okay, I'll just okay, that's in my head now. Thank you.
It's all right. We'll wait for you.
No,
Cynthia.
I don't
Just,
want to.
you're still in Wikipedia. Just type into the search where the last page where you are. There was a page of the shaman on the ground with the bull. There will be search Wikipedia in the top right corner, and just type in there the sorcerer and in brackets cave art. So we have seen mystic art of carving. We've seen it figurines. We've seen it, and now we're looking at drawing.
Okay.
This is also 15,000 years old, and this is in France, in caves in France. People didn't live inside caves. People lived outside the caves, but the rituals were inside the cave. Have you found it?
Like a human. I said the body almost looks like a human.
Yeah, it's a composite. So the antlers are obviously, stags, for instance. The eyes are, if you can see, the eyes are actually owls, belong to the owl. The front paws are lions, and the tail is actually a wolf or a dog. But the feet and the legs are human. So you have here the image of the shaman, of the mystery itself, and what we're looking at is that the antlers, the owl, the lion, and the wolf are all images of the goddess. Especially the lion, that's the instinct, the feminine instinct, the instinct of nature. And her bird shape is the owl, the eyes of the owl. And you have the dog. The dog is, knows, that's your intuition. Same as with the antlers of the stag, because the antlers of the stag was associated with renewal, because the antlers would lose the antlers every year and grow new ones. That's when we lose our ego and allow intuition to take over. And then what happens is if you ever looked at a stag or a deer run through woods, it runs spontaneously. one moment it's here, then the next it's bounded over here, and then over there. It's like your intuition, your imagination bouncing through the inner landscape of the soul, through the inner landscape of the forest, you see? So what we have here is this composite image of this instinct, this mystery, which is a feminine mystery. And this image is painted at the very end of the cave. You have to walk for kilometers to reach this chamber, and this would have been the initiation chamber. Now, one thing I'd like to mention about these initiations is that the initiations were usually done for men, only for men, because women didn't really need to do that. Nature took over, and she became a woman through her first menstrual cycle. So when that happened, the only initiation that she went through is to sit in a hut, and she would contemplate at what happens to her. It happens to women spontaneously, but men don't have that, so they have to be initiated into this mystery of being. This is the second birth. Your first birth is you're born of your physical mother, but the second birth is being born into this universal dimension of the mother. This everything, this composite, as you see, that includes everything in the universe, including you. See?
I missed which part you said was the intuition.
Intuition. Every part of this is intuition. The dog is the nose that knows. The owl is the ability to see in the dark, that flashes of insight that you suddenly see, and whatever was previously in the dark is revealed. That's intuition. So is the stag, because stag or a deer which runs spontaneously through the forest. You see, like flashes of imagination in your mind's eye. And spontaneously running through the landscape of the soul, through the landscape of your mind. And so is the lion, really, because that's instinct, the lion. Lion is the nature's instinct. So you were asking me about lion before. And, and a good example of this instinct is in Chronicles of Narnia, of lion, Chronicles of Narnia, and Aslan, this mystery lion that comes and helps the children to win the inner landscape of the soul back from wasteland of winter. See? So this is this will be the deepest mystery. We have come all the way, for instance, to where this cornucopia is to be found, where this life comes back to which it returns. And this is some 15,000 years old. This is Europe.
Wow.
So now we're going to go to something. Cynthia, did you have a look at this at all? Did you find this?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Did you find this? Did you have a look at this at all?
I didn't yet because I got in late, so I just jumped on. So that's okay. I can, if you can just give me a reference, I can make sure.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. I appreciate it.
Okay. So we're actually in Wikipedia.
Okay.
And what we're looking at is the sorcerer in commerce cave art. So you look in the search Wikipedia, the sorcerer cave art, and cave art is in brackets.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much.
Yep, in the image.
All right, I will check it out. Thank you.
Thanks. And the other Cynthia, did you find this in Wikipedia?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, now we're moving on. We're still staying in Europe, but we've moved on some 7,000 years forward towards our age now. And we're going to briefly look at something called the civilization of old Europe, which was discovered by an archaeologist from my end of the woods, from Lithuania, called Maria Gimbutas. This was a civilization of Danube Valley, of what is now Romania, Hungary, Greece, parts of Yugoslavia. Yeah.
What did you want us to put in?
Okay, so you're staying in Wikipedia and you're gonna go into, and you're gonna go into just one of these cultures. There were many that had different names, but just one. And this one is called Vinca culture. So Vinca culture in Wikipedia. So we're going to be looking at more images of the goddess, this time as a bird goddess. So we're going to be looking at that image that was sitting on top of the staff of that shaman prostrate on the ground.
How do you spell it again?
Vinca culture.
Vinca?
Vinca culture, and that's in Wikipedia. Let me know when you got it.
Is it a map?
Yeah, there's a map on the top,
Yeah.
and there will be another map beneath that. And what we're looking for is really just the first image.
The two-headed one?
Yeah, just the first image. So that's the goddess. That's the image of the goddess.
I don't see it.
Sites.
And her face, has everybody got that?
No.
Not yet.
I see the map.
I see it.
You got to scroll down a little.
Okay. Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
They're drawings? What are they? Vinca something.
Merrick, is it the thing that's captioned an anthropomorphic figurine
Anthropomorphic
with
figurine.
incised lines? Okay.
Okay,
thanks. Got it.
Just look at the first one really briefly, because we're moving on next to pictures in Google. So I wanted to just introduce this forgotten culture in Europe, really, that Maria Gimbutas discovered. And while you're looking for it, I'll tell you a little bit about the culture, because what's really interesting about this culture, it lasted for some 3,500 years, and it was equally balanced. It wasn't that the men had power over women or women had power over men, but it was egalitarian. It was classless culture. See? And the really interesting thing is that there's no evidence. Maria Gimbutas writes, there's no evidence of any weapons. She hasn't found in all her digs, in the archaeological digs, of any weapons. There's no war.
Wow.
And we lived like this, and we can live like this again. And the highest image of God was, again, woman, was feminine, the goddess. So in this culture, was run by a queen. She didn't have a husband, she had a consort. And she ran the culture, the queen ran the, she would have been the high priestess as well. She ran the culture together with her brother, really. And the men were responsible for all the practical side of the culture. So construction, shipping, trading, building, all that was taken, that was the men's side of stuff. And women were all about spirituality. They were all about this running of this, taking care of the temples and making the figurines and feasting and festivals. So there was an equal between material side of life and spiritual side of life. The important part of this culture, which really shocked me, was that there's no evidence of any weapons whatsoever. There's no war. 3,500 years. This is the civilization of old Europe that she called, Maria Gimbutas.
So like how many people were in the culture? I mean, was it
Oh,
a million?
yeah, well, some of the villages in Kukulkan villages were Kukutani villages apparently had a population of 10,000 plus. They were not small villages; they were cities. And this is we're talking about 7,000 years ago. High culture, because the art is very, very high quality art. And that culture was slowly destroyed by invading the male culture, the warrior culture, which was later termed the solar mythology culture. This is lunar mythology of the goddess. slowly destroyed by the invading warrior culture from the Black Sea. It was destroyed because they were looking. Apparently, they were nomads. They didn't really have a place of their own, and so they were herders. They were herders of cattle and such. So they roamed whatever they liked that they wanted to settle. They just took that place. There was no integration with that society. They just simply run it over. And they domesticated the horse, and they had weapons. So no one, they had much higher technology. And so no one could really stand up to them. So over a period of some, I think, 2,000 to 3,000 years, they've completely destroyed that culture. The last remnants of that culture would have been in Malta, on the Mediterranean, in the Bronze Age. So that's really interesting. What we're looking at is, just click on the first picture. It says anthropomorphic figure. And there's the goddess again, and she's wearing a mask. This mask could be a bear, or it could be a bird. Now she doesn't have very clear meandering lines on her, but she's also that image of the cosmic axis. And what do we find at the apex? The head, the mask, is an animal mask. Whether it is a bear or whether it is a bird, it is still the instinct, what we talk about. The animal instinct, that spontaneous animal instinct that just unfolds from itself. So you see that mystery consciousness that flowers, makes and tells dogs how to sniff things and follow a scent. You see, it tells it grows new life in the womb. It tells us how to digest our lunch. It takes care of all these things behind the scenes. This is what we are talking about, this mystery consciousness, this mystery energy that supports the universe in life and soul life, and which is called the soul. That's our soul. It works behind the scenes, supporting and enlivening all life. So this is the culture we hear about 7,000 BC. So the next thing we're going to go to is we're going to go to Google, and I'm going to show you the images of bird goddess, of what I was talking about before, the image of the labyrinth. So we're going to go into Google this time. So we're leaving for now Wikipedia, but you can leave that browser open. Just open another page in the browser, another window, and go into Google. And in Google, you're going to enter picture of Vinca culture bird goddess. Let me know when you're with me.
VINCA.
Yeah, picture of VINCA bird goddess, or Vinca bird goddess. So these are all this is all mystic arts. This happens spontaneously. You create it through your body. The soul talks to you, and you create it through your body, whether it is in sculpture, whether it is in painting, like the cave painting in the caves we saw, the 15,000-year-old paintings in Lascaux in France, or whether it is in the sculpting of the figurines. All this is like writing mystic poetry. It just speaks to you. It just wants to be made tangible in everyday life. It wants to be known through you as itself. This mystery, the soul. So these are all images of this soul. So has everyone got that page opened up now?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Okay. Let me see from the top. Okay, so it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row from the top. 5th row from the top. And you're going to be clicking on the second image. You can see a spiral. It's a sort of a large, round, flat image with a bird head on the top.
Yes.
Underneath it says Photos Europe 6,000 years. Can you see it? So click on that image.
What is it called?
it says photos Europe 6,000 years ago under the image. It's sort of a gray bluish image of a labyrinth, a spiral with a head, with a bird head on top.
How did you get there?
Okay, we're in Google now.
Yeah,
No.
I
So
don't,
you can leave the Wikipedia window open, just open another window and go into Google search.
Inca goddess.
I'm not showing on the screen. I don't know if you all can see me or not.
Are you showing it on the screen, Pamela?
I see it. Yeah, thanks, Pam.
Yeah,
Everybody's got it?
What is it? I don't see it.
is that the right one?
Which one is that?
Hold it
Okay,
down.
we're in Google
Yes.
search and we're looking for picture of Vinca culture bird goddess.
Thing.
So this is what you have to put into Google search, picture of Vinca culture bird goddess.
Bird. Goddess.
Let me know when you got it.
Oh, I think
I know today you have to be doing a little bit of work as well.
That's all right. And then you said move over to the 5th image.
Yeah, you're going to the 5th
I am-
row from the top.
Oh.
You're going to go down to the 5th row. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th row down.
right.
And it's the second picture on the right.
The standing
Oh.
bird goddess.
Underneath it says photos Europe 6,000 years ago. It's an image of a labyrinth spiral. Can you see it? No.
Okay, I got.
So if you opened up and Google,
Okay.
Google has found all these images. So you're going to go to the 5th row from the top, 5th row down from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it'll be a picture, second image on the right.
Yeah, I have it. Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
Has everybody else got it?
Oh,
Thing.
Almost got it? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, well, anyway, it's a picture of what I was talking about before. And you saw that image of the bison and the shaman on the ground and that stick with the bird on top. Well, the stick with the bird on top is this now. We have come some 10,000 years since that earlier image, and we've made it a little more, we've given it a bit more shape, we've given it a bit more clarity. Now it's a labyrinth with a bird head on top. This is the image of the cosmic text. This is the goddess. Yeah, this is that which connects the invisible and visible, and the spiral and the labyrinth it's there because you're looking for the center.
is
To
this
get
the-
into that dimension and experience this mystery, you got to go through the very center. That's squeezing through that tight tunnel in the cave before you found that large room with the painting, with the last painting on the furthest from the entrance of the cave, the furthest from the entrance of the cave room in the deepest part of the cave.
Thank you, Catherine.
This it? Is
So
this it?
are we all looking at the same image?
Is this the right one, Merrick?
Let me have a look. Oh, where are you? Where are you, Catherine? Yeah, that's the one. That's
Okay.
the one. Yeah. So we all got that image?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. This is the bird goddess. This is her image of that, let's say, of intuition, because that's how you get in. This is your middle way. You see, this is that tight tunnel through which you squeeze, the very center through which you squeeze to be able to see this image of the bird. And the bird is the way as well, because it flies between below and above. We'll see it again in another image, staying on the same page and seeing her as a labyrinth. So on the same row, this is where I was looking at the second image. We are looking at the last image on the same row, and you will see her as full of this green figure of a feminine figure with large hips, and she's got these meandering lines all over her. She's the labyrinth. She's the way. She's the guide, the way, and the final destination. See? Is everybody looking at the same image? On the same row where I was looking before, not the second picture, but the last on the same row, green in color.
Show it to me, somebody, please.
Well, I'm not
It's on
showing
the-
on the screen, so I don't know if you can see me or not. Can you see
No,
it?
I can hold it down. Bring it down. Okay. Gotcha.
All right, well, that's fair enough. That's the same thing, because they all really mean the same thing.
Isn't that them there? Is that right?
Sorry?
Is that the right picture?
Tell me. Where are you?
Right here.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so where are we now?
What's the name of these three women?
I'm not looking at the same image as you. What I was referring to is a image of that same page when you are in Google, on that same page in Google, where we were looking at that labyrinth on the same line of images. I was looking at the Vinca culture, Old Europe, which is a green image, but it means the same thing.
Okay.
Now we're gonna go. We're staying in Stone Age, and now we're gonna look at some architecture. So now that you've got your browser open in Google, go back to the search on the top of the page, and you're gonna put in map of Stone Age temple at Avebury.
Keep going.
Map of Stone Age temple at Avebury, and Avebury is spelled A-V-E-B-U-R-Y.
What's the first word you said? The what of Avery?
Map, as in map,
Map.
map of
M-A-P.
Stone Age temple at Avebury. I'm
Stone
losing that
Age.
word. Temple. Yeah, we're gonna have to get used to this because you'll be doing a lot more driving as well. I'm not gonna be just talking all the time.
Map of Stone Age temple. Okay.
At Avebury, and Avebury is spelled A-V-E-B-U-R-Y.
Okay. Thank you.
Got it?
Think so.
Has everybody got it?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking at third row from the top, 1, 2, 3, and the last image is a drawing that says Avebury Heritage and Surroundings. Can you see it? And it's a drawing of a serpent. That's architecture. No. Has everybody got it?
It's
In mine, it's the second it's the second one in from the right, Merrick, on mine,
Okay,
just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It might be different on your just
It's one, two,
third
third
row.
row from the top, and the last on that row. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth to the right.
Okay.
And it's a drawing of that Avebury temple. With that, there's nothing left of it really, but this is how it used to look like. Is everybody there?
Mhm.
Actually, the stones are still there.
Well, apparently just a few stones of the two little circles in the middle. The rest is all gone now. But this is how it used to look like. See, serpent, with 2 eggs inside of it. That's the way. Because on the left, there used to be a sanctuary there where people of that age would take the bones of the dead and they would walk this way. The procession would walk this way and deposit the remains of the dead back into the ancestors, back into this dimension where the 2 eggs are meeting. You see, where the 2 dimensions, the material and the spiritual, are as one. And the way you do, and the way you combine these 2 dimensions of spirit and matter is the serpent. You see, it's in the shape of a serpent. That's a feminine image. Why? Because a serpent lives underground, and when it comes up from underground, it's as if it brings its insight from within this invisible dimension. And that's again intuition. And in ancient Egypt, which we will look a little later, look at later, the uraeus, the cobra, was the power given to the goddess, to the king, to the pharaoh, and that's set right on the forehead, where your 3rd eye is. That's your soul. That's the intuitive, the feminine instinct, the intuitive power. That's what we're looking for, and that's the way. But that's how you get into the dimension of the ancestors, and then deeper still to the dimension of the dream, where we all dream the same dream, eternity. That's the door. That's the serpent. Another way to look at the serpent is when a serpent moves, coils, or it springs like a labyrinth. And when it coils into the center like a spiral. And another way for the serpent is the Kundalini serpent. See? The Kundalini serpent that rises like through the axis, all the way through all the chakras until it unites the 2 dimensions of solar and lunar, the visible and the invisible, at the crown of the head. So that's the serpent. And when the serpent moves on the ground, its forked tongue sort of senses spontaneously where it's going. And that's also our intuition. It senses spontaneously images and things, that insight that come to it, the language of the soul speaking through us intuitively. So that's architecture. Later I will show you architecture actually in the form of the goddess on the islands of Gozo and Malta in Bronze Age. So this is, I can't remember how old this was, but this is Stone Age. So we're probably looking at 10,000 years ago. So on the left, the people would have picked up the bones of the dead, of the family members, and walked through this procession and deposited them inside here somewhere where the 2 eggs are, and to put them back into their ancestors, the way is back into that invisible dimension of spirit, to be one with the ancestors. Okay. So now we're going to go into, we're moving on a little closer to our modern age. So we're going back to our Wikipedia, open page in Wikipedia. And we're going to type in Inanna, I-N-A-N-N-A. It's a name of a goddess, Sumerian goddess. Inanna, I-N-A-N-N-A. So just go back into your Wikipedia page. You should have that open already. Let me know when you're there.
Inanna?
Yeah, I-N-A-N-N-A, Inanna. And we're looking at image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th from the top. And it's in a subsection called Interpretations.
Okay, wait a minute.
So if you go into the menu on the left, there will be a menu on the left, and you can find Descent into the Underworld. It will get you there straight away. And you're looking for the 3rd from that subsection image. And under the image, you would say the Bernie relief, which is believed to represent either Ishtar or her older sister, Escabel. 19th to 18th century BC. Now we've come all the way to the Bronze Age, where the goddess is still part of our everyday life.
Sorry,
Got it?
I misspelled the name again. Can you spell it one more time?
Inanna, I-N-A-N-A.
Inanna. Got it.
I-N-A-N-N-A. Has everybody got that page now?
I see one image, that's it. Queen of Heaven.
Inanna, yeah. So if you find that page, it's a long, long page. There's a lot of information on there.
Yes.
So if you go into contents on the left, that's sort of a menu of the page, and if you can find descent, had descent into the underworld, it'll be 1, 2, third picture in that subsection.
Okay.
Has everybody got that?
Nope.
So we're looking at stone relief, the mystic art of stone relief now. Sculpture. Back to sculpture for a while. So has everybody found that?
Yep, I have it.
Silence.
I have it.
I have just one image.
That's all I can get.
Fragment of a stone plaque from the Temple of Inanna at Nippur showing Sumerian goddess, possibly Inanna.
Yeah, that's the same one. I can only find that too.
Really?
It's the Bernie relief is right to the right of the under the heading of interpretations, if that helps you.
Yeah,
That's the old print.
That's right. Yeah, it's a long.
So,
when
yeah.
you open the Wikipedia page on Inanna, it's a long, long page, a lot of information, and you got to find. You got to go into menu on the left. There'll be an introduction, and below that introduction, there's a menu called Contents. And if you find in the contents, you will find the number 8 called Descent into the Underworld, and there will be interpretation. So click on that, and there it is.
Ah,
Got it?
crazy.
Crazy stuff. So now a mystic boat has made it all the way into the depths. We can't go any further than where we've gone. This is the mystery, what we're looking at now.
It's just
Can't find it.
my goodness.
So there you have it. Do you see the image? Click on the image. And there is the composite of all the 3 dimensions that the goddess represents and she unites. Her wings are the sky or the universe, the cosmos.
Wings
She
of
stands on the lions, and the lions represent the earth. And there in the crown is the snake. See?
Nope.
This is the image of the underworld and the waters welling up from underworld, the mystery, the cornucopia out of which life comes and back to which it returns. The still point, the very still point. If you were to travel, had a dream, or you traveled or had a vision and you traveled all the way, you can't travel any further than that. Beyond that, we can't put it into words. We don't know what it is. You would come to that level of the serpent, the mystery of the serpent. But here is the cosmic axis, and she unites all these dimensions together: the dimension of the universe, our dimension of the earth, and the dimension of that underworld, the mystery that supports the universe and enlivens our life, which we call soul, and which we now know that this soul is not only something which is within us, but we are within it. And what's more, we are it too. It's this interconnecting energy or sea of life, if you like, which, like I described the last time, in unified physics, in modern physics, it's called sometimes quantum or 0 point. Yeah. And we are inside of it. And not only that, we are inside of it, and we are all interconnected through it. but we are it as well. Each one of us is a unique incarnation of this mystery, of this energy, whether it is called, it's apparently it's made up of two aspects, which is dark energy and dark matter. Dark energy is what enlivens it, and dark matter which holds it together. So that's the cosmic aspect of it. And then there's the earthly aspect, which is us. Yeah. So this is Inanna. And the interesting about it is Inanna is her story when she descends into the underworld, the journey that we've just done, and she has to strip off her 7 garments. So she has to strip off her conditioned ego, as it were. And when she enters into the deepest region of her sister of the underworld, goddess Arishkagal, and she reunites with the goddess, that's reuniting with your eternal part, with your divinity. You see? And when she's made it all the way to that region, she is there for 3 days, hang up on a hook. She's dead, as it were. She dies to her previous, dissociated consciousness of thinking that she's just mortal matter, nothing else. Now she's died to it. This is the 3 days of darkness of the moon before it is reborn as a new consciousness, as new consciousness, as knowing yourself not only as mortal but also as divine. She has reunited with her sister Erishkigal, her immortal part, her divine part. That's the journey. This is what we are making this zoom boat, this mystic journey to the mystic art of finding our divine part, the soul, and reuniting with it. Not just having a relationship with it, but identifying with it and saying, yes, I am that as well. I am that too, and so is everything. But I am everything too. You see?
Merrick, what are the 7 garments? Are they the 7 chakras or something?
The 7 garments are usually, there will be the parts of you that you got to let go, the conditioned ego, you see? Like the 7 days of the week, your everyday life that you lead, and you think that you're just a mortal lump of flesh and nothing else. You get rid of that. That's the dissociated consciousness, your conditioned ego. And when you have made it all the way, you let go the ego, you strip yourself of all the survival instinct. And there you reunite with your divine part. And when you return, you know yourself no longer as just, human, but you're also divine. You're also that soul. That was her that she reunited with her goddess sister of the underworld, Erishkigal. That's some of the oldest mythology, that's some of the oldest stories that we have of this, of a life destiny. So this is some 1800 BC, you see? And we still have the image, the feminine image, the journey is still a feminine mystery. Later that will become a solar hero mystery, to be masculine. And the boys or the heroes who are looking, they'll be looking for a father figure, not a mother figure. So this is, so she's the composite. She unites these dimensions. So it's not only that you're reuniting here with that invisible dimension, but you're also reuniting with the whole cosmos, because you are the whole cosmos, the cutting edge incarnation of this mystery of the whole universe. You see? The universe has given birth to our galaxy, the Milky Way. The Milky Way has given birth to our planet Earth. And planet Earth is giving birth to you. But it's just one stream of consciousness that is giving birth to itself. The universe, this mystery that is supports and enlivens the whole thing, universe. You are it. Every one of us is a unique incarnation of this mystery that is the entire universe as well. Okay, so next picture. I'm going to be running way over time. If you need to go, then that's fine. But the next picture, we're going back to Google, and I'm going to show you more architecture of the form of the goddess. This is the temple that we're inside now. You had a look at the mystery. The Inanna has reconciled with her in divine part, Erishkigal, and this is inside the temple. And back in the Bronze Age, the temples where the architecture was actually in a form of a goddess. So like the earliest figurines I showed you of the goddess, where you entered into her womb. That's what they were meant to mean with the spiral on her body. So now if you hit your Google page, what you need to type in is picture of goddess temple island Gozo. I'm using noise.
Say it again.
Picture of goddess temple island Gozo, and Gozo is spelled G-O-Z-Z-O. This is an island of Malta on the Mediterranean. This is the oldest surviving culture goddesses in Europe. Was the last one that was really destroyed by this warrior culture invading from the Black Sea.
Is this in Wikipedia?
No, we are now in Google, on your Google page.
Spell Gozo one more time.
G-O-Z-O. G-O-Z-O. So you're looking for picture of goddess temple island Gozo.
Okay.
Okay.
Found it? Yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I am.
Okay. People still looking?
I have it.
You got it?
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. So what we're looking from the top, we're looking for the row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row from the top, and 3rd picture from the left. Click on that.
What's a label?
Goddess.
The label says Goddess History of Maria Gimbutas. Goddess History by Maria Gimbutas.
Okay.
Can you see the temple in ancient ruins? And this is the shape of the goddess. You enter through the vulva, through the vagina. There are your hips, there are your breasts, and at the top is the sanctum of the sanctum, the most sacred place in the temple, the head. That's where you enter for your initiation. And people would have gone into that for their initiation, for spiritual practices. You know, has everybody got that picture?
Yes.
Nope.
What
I
am-
do. I see images, but no, I don't see that one. It's a-
Okay. It's what you're looking for. What you're looking for in Google is picture of goddess temple island Gozo, G-O-Z-O.
Right. Got it.
Got it? And you got a whole row of pictures, yes?
Yes.
Old pictures. Now you're looking at row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from top.
Nope.
What's the name on the row? What does it say?
Yeah, and it'd be 3rd on the right in that 5th row. And underneath the picture, it says Goddess History by Maria Gimbutas.
Goddess History?
By Maria Gimbutas.
I don't see that.
No?
Nope.
No.
Why don't you look for the picture that has somebody's holding up the card that says Kuan Yin on it? If you flip back, that's the same row that's in. Then, then it's the next one over.
Why don't
You can
show
just
the
type in. You can just type in as well Gozo Temple. Gozo Temple in the shape of the goddess. G-O-Z-O Temple in the shape of the
I think
goddess.
we all have the temple, but we just don't know the image
Right.
within the Gozo temple, because there's a lot of images.
Okay.
And probably people have different Googles.
Right.
Different Googles.
Because I don't have several.
I have one row, and then I have a whole bunch of text underneath.
Okay, so we'll type in this into your Google search. Gozo Temple, G-O-Z-O Temple, Goddess,
Okay.
and show me what comes up.
Okay.
Or Marek, in the description under the image, it has in parentheses goddess shaped. Maybe if the goddess shaped temple might do it with on Gozo.
Gozo, yeah, goddess shaped Gozo. You can just
Yeah.
goddess shaped Gozo Temple.
Goddess-shaped temple on Gozo. Should get it to you. Get you to it.
Shaped temple.
You got to put Gozo because that's where it is. Only that's where. Got it? It's Malta, off the island of Malta, on the Mediterranean. I'm making you really work for it today. But I thought it would be much better than me prattling at you that we actually go on this interactive tour, because that's how you will remember, you see?
Yeah.
And we have some homework to do to actually look all these images over again.
Yeah. Of course, I'm Pamela's recording this, and then you can just, if you've got all these images, I've left every image that I looked at, I've opened up in a separate window so that I don't forget. You see, I can look at them, look them over again. I was actually thinking the other day, well, how am I going to present this to you? Because mystic art is not that easy. There isn't really that new anything. Contemporary is rubbish. There's nothing, to be honest. Yeah, I think Picasso was one of the last. And the only way that I could do it is actually go back that far back, because that's where the mystic art was really alive. Later, there's nothing. There's, pictures of Pepsi Cola and stuff. So that won't do it. So if you got the image?
Yep.
Okay. So if you can see, look at the temple. See the shape of the temple? It looks like a goddess. It's a woman's shape. That's what we're talking about. The dimension, the inner dimension, your inner life of the soul is feminine. So
aerial view. Okay.
Yeah. And it's in two parts, the temple, the lower part and the higher part. The lower part, you enter into the womb, and then you make it like, imagine this as the cosmic axis, I guess. Again, you're climbing the tree of life. I'll come to the tree of life in a minute. You're climbing the tree of life, and you're coming past your own personal biographical unconscious. You go through the threshold, that would have been a threshold in the middle, and you're going into the level where her breasts are, and you're walking past the opposites, if you like, into the head. That would have been the highest point in the climb. That's the apex. And there would have been the image of the mystery of the divine, of God. So is everybody with me?
Yes.
Kind of?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah? Cynthia, you're not? Cynthia, you didn't find it?
I see lots of temples, but I don't.
Lots of temples.
It's the aerial view.
Yeah, did you see one which is shaped like a woman?
View.
It's all right. I'll find it later.
You'll find it later.
Like this. Right
Just
here.
typing, go into Google and type in Gozo Temple. That's it.
I did.
And it's not there?
Look on the screen for Urek.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
It looks like the shape of a woman.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
That's the mystery, that we've gone inward, and the mystery of going inward, that the inner journey is feminine in nature. All right. So now we're going to look at some images of this, more images of this mystery. She would have been dark in nature, because darkness refers to the 3 days dark of the moon, or even of the earth, going inward, because you're leaving the daylight world behind, the light of the ego behind, and you're going inward into the mystery and magic of the night. That's associated with the moon. So next we're going back to Wikipedia, and we're going to type in Temple of Artemis. Artemis is spelled Artemis. So we're Temple of Artemis. So in your Wikipedia. Has everybody got it?
No.
It'll be a huge
ARTINES.
ARTEMIS. 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 It's a
Got it.
goddess Artemis. Got it?
Yep.
Yep.
Got it.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Now let me see if I can find an easy way. So you're going to be going to Ephesian Artemis, and that'll be in the menu.
What is it?
Contents on the left, and it's be the sixth menu from the on the bottom, called Ephesian Artemis. You got it?
Ephesian?
Ephesian Artemis. Inside that page on the contents menu on the left, it'll be the sixth line, six.
Oh, Ephesian Artemis. Okay. There we go.
Got it?
Yeah.
So we're still in Bronze Age. This is 18th century BC, Bronze Age.
Lady of Ephesia.
That's it. The Lady of Ephesia. So click on that image, or actually click on the next one, the drawing. It should be in color, because what I wanted to really stress is that her face, her feet, and her hands would have been painted black,
Wow.
because she represents that mystery of the dark moon. That's when you have extinguished your ego. You've gone inward. It's the 3 days of darkness of the in the tomb. This in the tomb of the 3 days before resurrection. Yeah, 3 days of Inanna, the underworld, before she resurrects and she identifies with her divine part, immortal part, goddess Erishka God. That's the 3 days. That's blackness. That's the mystery of the dark moon. The 3 days of the dark moon before it resurrects as a new crescent, and the new crescent is the new consciousness. You now live both mortal and divine, with one foot in this world and the other firmly rooted into this in this invisible dimension of soul, of spirit. You are aware that you're in living kinship with this mystery. You're aware of it in everything, not just within yourself, but in everything in your life. That's when synchronicities happen. You know, insight, intuitive insight. That's when you look at a number plate and you get an answer, and add on a passing bars.
I love the image below. She has multiple breasts, and then there's a fountain image of a fountain below where
Yeah,
all
because
the
she's
breasts
the
are
water of
producing.
life. She's the source. She's the fountain. At the very center, I'll tell you a story of how it happened to me, and there will be an image of that stream of water of life underneath the foot of the tree. So if you can click on that image with her many breasts, the many breasts symbolize the giving of life, nourishment of life. You see, in alchemical images, many alchemists, once they have recovered the alchemical gold, they are pictured with drinking from Sola Sophia, from this image of the soul, from her breast. See, that's the fountain, that's the water of life, because it nourishes, it gives life. And if you drink your water of life, that means being intuitive. You're drinking from your own fountain of life, the source. So that's what the breasts mean. And you can see she's got all the animals on her. There are you know, at her feet would have been stags apparently, and she's got a crescent around her neck, and there will be more animals. So she's nature. She's the mystery of nature. She's that energy of the mystery of nature that supports and enlivens everything. And the important thing about this image I wanted to point out is that her face, her feet, and her hands would have been black. So she's that unknown. When you're going inward and backward, you're not going to recover light. You're not looking for light, but you're actually looking to recover that feminine darkness. You're looking to integrate the darkness, the unknown, the soul. So she's the image of that. She's again the cosmic axis that unites the visible with the invisible. And like Jurek pointed out, there's an image there of a fountain. Well, that's what she is. See, from the breast, pouring on water of life. Water is life. You can have the sun if you like, and you have the light, but if there is no water, you don't have any plants, there is no life. There's deserts. That's different. So you have to have water, and water is a mystery, goddess's mystery. Without that, there's no life. So water is not just a symbol or metaphor, it is life itself. Okay, so has everyone had a look at this picture?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so we're going to the next one. There we're still staying in Bronze Age. We are going to Google, and now we're going to put into Google, type into Google, picture of ancient Egypt tree of life. Now I want to show you her as in mystic art, as in pictures, as in paintings of this mystery of the feminine mystery of the tree of life. So we go, picture of ancient Egypt tree of life. Let me know when you got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go into the second row of pictures, and it'll be 1, 2, 3, fourth image from the left.
What's it look like?
What's the title?
Look at the title. Egyptian, the title on that is Egyptian Herbal Secrets.
Egyptian.
I don't particularly resonate with the title, but the picture speaks for itself. Can you see the picture of a woman pouring water out of sitting in the tree, pouring water into the hand, under the mouth of a person on the left? No, not yet.
What row is that, Merrick? The third row?
Okay, it's 1 second row from the top.
Oh, okay, that would explain it. Okay.
And it's the 1, 2, 3, fourth picture on the right. You see it?
Okay. Yep. I got it.
Yeah. So there's a tree. Would have been a sycamore tree in ancient Egypt because it got a milky sap, I think, from memory.
Hmm.
Yeah. And there's a woman. She's not just sitting in the tree. She is the tree. So if you've had images, if you had dreams perhaps of trees, especially flowering trees, and there might be something at the bottom of the tree, which is the secret, the treasure. I'll tell you my own experiences in a minute of that. And so she is that tree. She is that nature, that spontaneous nature that unfolds and is also the water of life. So she pours the water into this would have been the soul of a dead person who is passing on to the next world, into afterlife. There is another picture of that same meaning. It will be 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8th row from the top. 8th row from the top, and it's the fourth picture on the right. It's just a stick man standing next to a tree, and there's a breast coming out of the tree, and he drinks from that breast. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah. So that'll be the soul of a dead person passing on to afterlife, and to get and he's getting there through drinking this water of life, which is a feminine mystery. So is the tree, and so is the goddess. So you might have dreams of trees, and perhaps even a serpent up in a tree, or a bird up in a tree. That's what that means. That's your intuition, by the way. The tree, and the tree in the dreams might be also usually very often a palm tree or a pine tree. So has everybody had a look at that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
No.
Okay. No, not yet?
So the tree of life is holding up a vase, and there's streams of
there's water coming out of the vase. There will be a woman in the tree. She's holding a vase. Out of the water is coming out. Out of the vase is coming water, and that water is taken into the hand or directly into the mouth or into a cup of a soul that's made it all the way there. That's the ritual of you could say resurrection of life, if you like, passing on into afterlife. So this is ancient Egypt. This is image of the goddess as the tree, as the water of life. All the images that I've shown you before, whether it was a temple, whether it was a sculpture or a relief or a drawing, they all mean the same thing. This cosmic axis, this tree of life, which is also your serpent, which is your water, which is your God. It's a feminine mystery, and it talks to us intuitively. Yeah.
Can someone hold it up and show it? Could somebody hold up the picture?
Yeah, hold on.
Because I can't find it.
You can't find it. Catherine, you can't find it?
No, I just
No?
have a phone. I only have a little phone.
Me
It
too.
doesn't show the rows or anything.
Here it is.
Okay.
What does it?
You see it, Catherine?
Oh, yes. Okay, so it's a big plaque. Okay.
Yeah, it just if you Google, put in picture of ancient Egypt tree of life,
I did.
and it's lots of pictures there of trees. You just have to find one within which you find a feminine figure with water pouring out of her. That's really
It's called Egyptian suckling tree goddesses.
Yeah, there's lots of these things. There's be lots of titles. There'll be trees in Egypt. That's another title. Or you can just type in ancient Egypt tree of life.
It didn't come up that way for me. But
It didn't. The picture of ancient Egypt tree of life didn't come up.
Egyptian suckling tree goddesses.
okay.
Yeah.
Egyptian suckling tree. Oh, no, you said three goddesses.
TREE.
You could also put in tree of life in ancient Egypt. Picture of tree of life in ancient Egypt. Is it there?
Is that it?
Have a look. Where I get that.
Yes, that's a slightly different image, but yes, that's also the same.
That would do. Yeah, see, she's sitting in the tree. You would have been holding. I can't really see it really clearly, but yeah, there's someone there collecting the water, and she will be dispensing water into the seeker's soul, if you like. So that's what I'm trying to communicate. That she is the tree, she's the water, she's the goddess. There's the feminine mystery. You see. I'm trying to communicate that to you because my own experience will make a little bit more sense once you have seen this mystic art, once you have seen some of these images, these symbols.
And the other hand of the tree is holding out a tray of food.
Yeah. Okay, now we're coming up to the end now, you'll be glad to know. So we're going back to Wikipedia. And you're going to type in Black Madonna. Black Madonna.
I have to go, Mark.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna.
Thanks, Felix. See you next time. So let me know when you got it. It's Black Madonna.
Got her.
Yeah, that was easy.
That was easy.
That was easy. Yep.
Got it? So we want just the first picture, which says the Black Madonna of Częstochowa in Poland.
Is that her?
Okay, now there you see the mystery.
Is that her?
She is black because, like I said, she's the dark phase of the mystery that you're going in with the 3 days of darkness of going all the way to that mystery before you resurrecting new consciousness. This is the new crescent moon. Now here she's holding her son. So this is the image of Virgin Mary and Jesus. Now Virgin Mary, this is the image of the goddess. She is the unknown, the soul, the mystery, the invisible. And he is her incarnation in this visible dimension. So he would be everything, the plants, the animals, you and me. So that's the mystery, the union of the invisible and the visible, that the invisible is the support that enlivens its own incarnation, that is the visible incarnation of itself, the whole universe. The material, the matter that incarnates the invisible. So this is the union of the spirit and matter, you see? You with me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's why I want, this is, we're almost at the end now. So this is the union, the final union of the two. You could say your ego and yourself, or your soul, or your body and your soul, finally reconciled and come together. Gotta let the dogs out. Been waiting for the last half hour. Yeah. So this is the reunion. This is you have made it all the way to that temple, and you have identified yourself, your material, your person, your physical person, your body. You know that you're not just this mortal lump of flesh, but your source is this mother, this unknown dimension of the soul, and you are that dimension too. So this is what this picture says: the union of the invisible with the visible. Okay. So we're going now to the last image, or a contemporary image of this, what I've been talking about to you. And now you're gonna have to go to Amazon.com. I'm going to be showing you image of what I've painted, and it's on the cover of my book. You can either go to Facebook and find it, scroll down on my page, or you go this way. There's no other way for me to show you. So you go to Amazon.com, and once you're there, you search for Mystic Soul.
Do you want me to get my book?
You can get your book, yeah. But this is easier to see because you can see it on your browser. What I'm trying to say, this image of the soul as the cosmic axis that unites the visible with the invisible.
There's your book.
You got it?
There's your book right here.
Yeah.
that's good.
So if you, is everybody looking at the same image?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. There's the blue figure. Someone was asking me about blue. Blue is the color of the blue sky and the blue water. So she's the water of life. And she's leading me, as it were, up the bridge, which is the interplay of the opposites. There's your checkered bridge. That's how you get in between the middle way between the opposites. And you get in, we're going to that temple up the stairs within which there is light. But before you get there, you're walking through two pillars, or underneath two pillars. One is leaning on the other. That's your opposites. Your left and your right eye, you're feeling and you're thinking. And the middle way that holds, that works between the opposites is between the feeling and thinking is your intuition. And that's how you get in, and that's what she represents, the image on my on the cover of my book. That's the soul. That's your intuition that leads you there. That's your guide, the way, and the final destination, and the image, and the final mystery, revelation of the mystery. So when you go into that temple and you see the light, which is the light of the fire, of the unconsumed fire, and you realize that you are a spark of that unconsumed fire. So you're not separate from God. You are God. See, you're just a unique interpretation of that mystery, a never to be repeated interpretation of that mystery. So you're not only just building a relationship with it, you finally identify with it, and you realize, yes, I'm like that. This is me too.
What does this represent?
Which part?
at the bridge, you know, where the title is and the images behind the title?
Okay, that's the temple. The middle way, the middle temple is set between the opposites, you see? The three, this is the three prongs of Shiva, or three prongs of Neptune, who is the god of water, of all the waters, not just the Shiva, but of all the waters, water of life, or the living water of intuition. That's your middle way between the opposites. I was writing to someone about the boat recently, and in many mythologies, for instance, Jason the Argonauts, the journey for the golden fleece, to get into that dimension where they're going to get the golden fleece, when they're going to finally find that gold, that mystery, that treasure, they have to sail between clashing rocks. That's your opposites. Your outside and your inside, your ego and your soul, you know. But there is a middle way between them, and that middle way that connects between them is your intuition. So the way that they went through, the way that the boat, the Argo boat, went through is by sending a dove, and they followed the dove, and so they didn't get squashed between the opposites, but they sailed easily through like a feather, you know, right through. So that's what the bridge symbolizes. It's the being connected to information that flows between you and your soul. That's the circulation of information between you and your soul, which is done intuitively. That's a feminine mystery. Until you go through this interplay of opposites, if you like, and you enter into this deep, the most inward center within you. That's the temple, and you experience this mystery, this mystery of the soul. So to conclude, I will just tell you briefly on my own experience of what I have been trying to convey to you. This journey, this mystic journey of through the art, through the pictures and drawings, and through the many sculptures and architecture, is my own one of my own experiences of going inward into this cave, into this feminine mystery, into this most inner sanctum, if you like. And it happened when I was in my mid-30s, and it happened like this. In my dream, I wake up, so I actually get out of bed, and I know that something is calling me on the other side of the wall, if you like. So it's the furthest wall from the front door. And when I walk up to the wall dissolves. It dissolves into a fog, very, very thick white fog. And I have to walk through that fog. And once I get through the fog, I enter a sunlit landscape in the middle of the day. But the landscape is a rural landscape. It's not something I've known before. It's a rural, it's a countryside landscape. And it's spring or summer. And at that point where I enter, it takes me a long time to adjust my eyes, because I've just come from night, from unconsciousness into consciousness, if you like. And it takes me a long time to adjust my eyes because it's so bright. But once I am able to see, my guide is already waiting at that threshold, at that point, and she's going to take me further. And the guide is a woman, as is many of my dream visions. And she's standing there in her white flowing gown. She's got her long flowing hair, and she extends her hand to me, the right hand, and she says, "Come and I will show you something." This is years and years of trying to enter the cave, and which I finally enter. So she takes my hand, and we walk in what seems to be a long distance, because I see the dirt track leads for quite a while. But in my dream, 2 or 3 steps, and we're already there. So it's a magic dimension as well. This is entering that deeper collective dimension, and it's nature, because it's nature that is sacred, because it's pagan. And in pagan times, every stone, every tree, it was sacred. Everything was divine. So we enter a cave, and the moment we enter, we have to descend 2 or 3 steps. So you're going down deeper, and through a corridor, which seems like it's very long, but it took maybe 2 or 3 steps while she's leading me by hand. We enter into a large chamber. And the chamber would have been perhaps as large as a 2 or 3 story building. And the first thing that I noticed, it had a huge tree. See, this is the tree coming back. A huge flowering tree. And where the main trunk ends, there was a white lily, a huge white lily with a golden stem coming out of it. And then the tree extended through the roof of the cave, which was open. It wasn't closed, but an open roof. And it kept on extending all the way to the blue sky. My guide, the woman, she walks into this chamber and walks up to the foot of the tree, next into its large roots, as it were, from which a spring is bubbling up. And this spring turns into a little spring. It's bubbling up from underneath the foot of the tree and it's turning into a stream, perhaps 80 centimeters, 1 meter wide. And she walks into this stream. She has a cup in her hand. She takes the water out of the stream and she says to me, "Drink, for this is where many men of old found their gold." So I took the cup and I drank and I woke up. So this was my initiation into this ancient mystery of finding the water of life, the source out of which all comes back to which it returns, which is water, which is tree, which is that feminine figure, my guide, the soul, and it's also gold. And in alchemy, gold is not the common gold, but the gold of seeing with the eyes, but understanding with the heart. You see what I mean? Seeing something by understanding it intuitively. You're going below the surface of appearances to its essence. So that, I'll leave you there and you can contemplate on that. So there you have it. Thank you very much. It was a bit longer than I expected. But I hope I was able to convey to you that through this mystic art of going back as far as 40,000 years into our past, that this image of this cosmic axis, of this union of the visible and invisible, is always feminine, always. And this is what we have missed, or are still missing, in our contemporary culture, which has the masculine image of the father, and that's on the material side of stuff. Only this, and it says that the creator and creation is separate, whereas in the old tradition, which is like I pointed out, for many millennia, there was no such split, and this is the split we're trying to heal, the split between matter and spirit, our body and our soul, and this feminine mystery that is missing, and this immanence of divine in all things, whether a blade of grass or whether that flowering tree over there, that flower, or my dogs, or you for that matter. You see, everything is that unique incarnation of the divine. So there you have it. Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes, I can imagine there will be questions. So yes,
well, after you had that experience of the dream,
yeah.
and then you woke up, did you feel differently?
Of course, but at the time, Pamela, I was so involved in my inner work and collecting all these images and experiences. I was actually working very energetically with mythological symbols, which will be my next talk. That I wrote all this down, and I knew that it was important. But what happened was, you are taken over as a way, and you become very, very creative afterwards, because you have unlocked the flow of inspiration, if you in that moment, and it just flows through you. So I was very, very creative afterwards for the next few weeks. And it takes a while to integrate all this into your life. because you can experience all this, but unless you know what you've experienced, that's why I insist that when you have such visions and such dreams, that you then process all that insight through Jung's depth psychology and Campbell's comparative mythology. So like I've just done to you now, we've gone through all these images and I've explained to you what they mean. You've got to know what it means. Otherwise, a dream or an experience like this is just, so what? You don't make a connection to it, or that it was so important. What you were experiencing was actually being in front of the highest divinity, which was her, my guide. She is the guide, she's the way, and she's the ultimate revelation. She is the water of life that she gave me to drink. That source that enlivens everything, this mystery, this soul. So it takes a while to integrate all this. So of course I felt different. I was very creative afterwards. But it, you know, unless you process all this stuff, it's meaningless. It can be meaningless. And I've seen this happen many times with quite a few people.
Were you creative in all areas? Writing, painting?
Writing. My days by then would have been over, because I found that working with mythological symbols and writing works just as well. And I was already in the language of the soul when you work with mythology, or with fairy tales, or with legend. You are right in it. It's easy, it's quicker this way too, because painting takes time. You know, you've got to, I finished finished with painting in about 2003, I think, 2002. Because like when I found, for instance, when I started working with Tom Chetwynd's Dictionary of Symbols, I found that I could get the same results even better, even quicker, for just working with mythological symbols. So that's what we're going to be talking next. Yeah? Any more questions?
Well, are you all dumbfounded? Probably.
Speechless. I think they've all gone to sleep.
I don't think so, but
I think they've all gone to sleep, and or they're still navigating. They're still trying to catch up with all the browsers open and stuff.
well, thank you very much for the journey through time.
50,000
Yes.
years.
50,000 years. Where we've gone from more or 50,000
Yeah.
years. That's a long time. But you see what I'm trying to convey in this mystic art? This stuff, when they created the figurines of the goddess, where they painted all these figures, all these images on the caves and so on, this, or build the temples, they wouldn't have thought about that. They would have just spontaneously, intuitively known that this is correct. So that comes through the working. That's why working some kind of creative way through your body with your hands is so important, because that's when the images, that's when the mystery speaks itself. And your job is to put it into some kind of tangible way, whether poetry or whether painting or whether working with symbols. Anyway, some people do gardening, others dance. This is what's come to me through my painting, through my poetry, and through my work. We work with symbols and so on. It just speaks through you. And this is mystic art. Yeah?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions?
I saw that tree of life. I was in the Temple of Karnak.
Yeah.
And I've been there 3 times.
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, I saw it, but there was nobody there really explaining what all you were seeing.
No.
But
So that's important. You got to understand. That's the language of the soul. That's what I mean by language of the soul. And you have to know these things so that you can appreciate your visions and your dreams. I know people who have had tremendous visions, archetypal visions. They stood there in front of this unconsumed fire, this unburning bush, and they had no idea of what happened, because we don't have any reference to that in our culture anymore. Yeah.
could you just say something quick about I can't pronounce, it's Maria, and when she held the figures, you know, the little figurines, when she was doing her studies with these figurines and how they spoke to her. Can you hear me? Mark? Mark? Catherine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Pamela,
Um,
but I can't see Merrick anymore.
I can see him, but
Do you need to unmute him or something? No? No? Picture disappeared.
well, apparently we've lost him.
Okay.
I went in and read the, I think it was the Wikipedia link that he recommended about Gumbudo's research. And she found all these little, I mean, hundreds of little figurines of the goddess. And they spoke to her. Yeah, the goddesses actually spoke to her. So that's what I wanted him to talk about.
What was the link, Pamela? Maybe we can look it up.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to go back. You could maybe write him, but it's, her name is Gambodi, I think. Marie, it's pronounced like Marie,
I
but
have it. Yeah. I just wondered, was it on YouTube or where was it?
no, it's on Wikipedia.
Okay.
But I did see her giving a talk, but if you look her up, I think you can find that. It's probably been, you know, a couple of months since I read it,
Okay.
but, you know, because, you know, it told how she found out about the culture because the stones actually talked to her.
That's exciting.
My girlfriend in Vegas, who's a shaman, there, do you know where the valley, Red Rock Canyon is on the west side of Vegas? Well, anyway, it's a big national park. And she was hiking in there with some people, and the stones, these big, huge stones, invited her to come over and to the other side of the canyon, and they opened a doorway for her.
You mean a portal?
Yes.
Okay.
And she walked into it. But
Uh-huh.
the stones guided her, you know, to do that. So that,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if he lost some people today or not. I mean, I know a couple of people had to jump off. And I think your Cynthia has to get up early and go to work.
Did you leave
And,
already?
yeah,
Okay.
and she a nurse. I think she's a nurse.
Yes, she is a nurse.
I think she told me one time that she had to jump off early because of
Work.
you get up to go to work. So, yeah. Well, I've been sitting here almost since 6 o'clock. I wanted to make sure I got on this thing.
You
And
did fine.
whoever started getting on that,
You did fine. It went much smoother.
yes, so
Did you
Wow.
want to turn off the recording, Pamela?
I did.
I still see it on. On my screen, it says record still. It's a little red button in the top right corner.